There are 15 major companies right now, with 2 of them being Chipotle and Target, that are actively using prison farms where they are paying people with basic necessities like giving them toilet paper, toothpaste, and menstrual pads each month in exchange for forced prison labor. Those major 15 companies are the following: Chipotle, Whole Foods, Target, McDonald's, Costco, Walmart, Burger King, Domino's, Kroger, Coca-Cola, Tyson Foods, Pepsi Cola, General Mills, Cargill, and Aldi. Now, I'll unpack in a few seconds just how exactly each company is individually and uniquely doing this internally. But first, I just want to break down what these prison farms actually look like. Now, it's no secret that the United States still uses slave labor to fuel its economy. And most of this slave labor comes directly from the prisons and jails where Black and brown people are exploited. Almost 100% of the time, when you see that a major product is made in America, it's usually being made using forced prison labor and modern slavery. A 2-year investigation by the Associated Press tracked nearly 200 million worth of goods produced by prisoners over the past 6 years. These prisoners work for little to no pay under brutal conditions, while major corporations and state governments rake in huge profits. Now, Faye Jacobs, a former inmate in Alabama, said she was paid 2 rolls of toilet paper, toothpaste, and menstrual pads each month for her work on prison labor farms. In Alabama, prisoners often receive no pay at all for their labor. And over the past 5 years, this state has made $32 million by garnishing 40% of prisoners' wages. Now, I think it's very obvious how this is pretty much a modern day enslavement and a new Jim Crow mixed all together in one. But what makes it even more insidious is that most of these prison farms are literally built on plantations. In Louisiana's Angola prison, prisoners are forced to work in fields for as little as 4 cents an hour. And this exact prison is built on a former slave plantation. Calvin Thomas, who spent over 17 years there, described working in extreme heat that even caused guards and horses to collapse. Corporations and state governments profit immensely from this setup. Prison labor has become a multi-billion-dollar industry, with states and prisons making tens of millions of dollars from these partnerships. Now, lastly, I just want to break down how each of these companies are actively using slave labor. We'll start with McDonald's. McDonald's uses prison labor in their supply chain for various products, taking advantage of extremely low labor costs to boost profits. Next is Kroger. Kroger sources products processed or packaged using prison labor, and they integrate these goods into their grocery offerings. Next is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola benefits from prison labor in the agriculture sector, where prisoners are often used to source ingredients. Next up on the list is Tyson's Food. Tyson's Food employs prison labor to processing and packaging poultry and other meat products, cutting labor costs significantly. Next is Pepsi. PepsiCo uses prison labor for both agriculture tasks and processing, feeding into their vast product lineup. And next up, General Mills. General Mills integrates prison labor into their supply chains for various food products, leveraging cheap labor to maintain low production costs. Up next, we have Cargill. Cargill employs prison labor for agricultural work and food processing, benefiting from the extremely low wages paid to inmates. Next up is Aldi. Aldi sources products that involve prison labor in processing and packaging, which are then sold in their stores. Next up is Costco. Costco benefits from prison labor used in the production and packaging of goods, integrating these into their extensive inventory. This next one is a bit shocking. We have Target. Target utilizes prison labor in their supply chain for various products, taking advantage of the low-cost labor provided by inmates. The next one is not so shocking. They've been getting exposed for decades, but Walmart. Walmart engages prison labor for packaging and processing products sold in their stores and ultimately reducing labor costs. Now, next up, we have Whole Foods. Whole Foods sources products processed or packaged using prison labor despite its ethical marketing. Next is Burger King. Burger King uses prison labor in their supply chain for various food products, benefiting from reduced labor expenses. Next is Chipotle. Chipotle engages prison labor for processing and packaging ingredients, keeping them operational. Next is Domino's. Domino's uses prison labor in the supply chain for food product and ingredients, benefiting from the extremely low wages paid to prisoners. Next, we have Eggland's Best and Hickman's Family Farms. Hickman's Family Farms, a supplier to Eggland's Best, housed 140 women in a warehouse during the pandemic, paying them just $3 an hour after deductions for room and board. And lastly, Belgisio Cheese. Belgisio Cheese sources products that involve prison labor in production and packaging, and of course, integrating them into their product offerings.